All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Theorycraft Thursdays. I am Ursinity. I'm happy to be here with you in your car or in your office or in your wherever you listen to our podcast. I'm with Proud. So, hello, Proud.
Hello, Ursinity. Hello, people who are listening. Hello, the world, right? Isn't that the attitude to have?
That is the attitude to have. That is the attitude we have specifically. I mean, I suppose there are other attitudes to have. But anyway, this is a Dota podcast.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about stuff today. But just to kick it off, I mean...
Kick it.
Yeah, kick it real good. All right. How's Dota been treating you, Proud?
And I don't know. Dark Souls has been treating me pretty good.
Yep. I'm mentally prepared myself for this.
Yep.
I am the lone non-Dark Souls fan of like our friend group and of the podcast hosts. So
okay,
soapbox a bit. I'm sure you want to.
Yeah, no, it's great. I haven't been playing a great amount of Dota. Been playing a little more Dark Souls these past few days. But Dota itself, because I guess like I am like contractually obligated. Dota's been okay. It's been good. Actually, no, I lost like 8 games in a row. I looked like 8, and it was really shit. But that we're coming back. It's okay. We lost like 4 Lone Druid games, which was bizarre and very disheartening. But then we won a couple others, and then we won like with other heroes. Like what was it? Fucking like we won like a Beastmaster game. It was weird. It's a weird hero, and like Spectre and shit. That's good. I like that. Like I like Dota. I don't like losing though. Dark Souls is great though, man.
Yeah, there have been passing moments in the last few days where I'm like, man, I should like get into the Dark Souls series. And
my God.
Like, those moments very quickly pass.
No, just play the first one. It's the best game ever made.
Yeah, maybe over the summer once I'm done with everything.
Okay, I'll buy you the first one and an Xbox controller.
I have an Xbox controller, fortunately.
You'll have 2.
I think I might own Dark Souls actually, like from a Steam sale, and I just never played it. Which I don't know if that's better or worse.
Dude, the first one is so good.
Anyway, also I feel like I would enjoy it more if I just like Googled the lore or like watched somebody play it.
That's how I got into it, man. Like I played the first one, stopped playing it, played the second one, was like, this is pretty decent, and then I just watched lore videos, and I was like, holy shit, I need to play this history book, and then I did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have Dark Souls to retreat to. I just have terrible Korean dramas, but I've also been on a horrible losing streak. Specifically today. I went 1-24 on Disruptor, so that was agonizing.
I thought you were saying like you won 1 game and then lost 24, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a bad fucking episode, man.
No. Fortunately, it's not that bad. But I did lose 5 games in a row. It's not the end of the world though. Most of them were unranked. That's actually a lie. Most of them were party ranked, which kind of doesn't matter that much to me. But
yeah.
I mean, but Dota's fine. Enjoying Dota as always. Enjoying the live streams. We've had some quality streams. Roland did his 12-hour on Friday. I believe he's doing another long one this weekend. I don't know if it's 12 hours or not, but thoroughly enjoying everything. So that's Dota 2.
Nice. Oh, yeah, my internet hasn't been shit lately, so I might actually do some streaming if I can manage that. Well, we'll see.
Excitement. All right, so we're gonna start an unnamed segment. What?
Do we have to like? There's got to be a thing. Can we not just do it?
A thing. We're gonna do it in future weeks, or it's gonna be like State of Affairs, and we say it's coming back, and then we stop doing it like immediately after that. Anyway,
I mean, we still do State of Affairs. We just don't name it because it's fucking inefficient. Just do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Anyway, we're doing a segment. It'll have a name next week.
Oh my God.
Probably, but it doesn't have a real name this week. Anyway, we're going to talk about support items. Or, I mean, the segment basically is going to be just we're going to make very abridged versions.
This is why you don't commit to fucking making rules and shit, man. It's not working out. Basically, we want to have a little segment. It's not about specifically the heroes and shit. That's like actually targeted to interesting Theorycraft shit. That's not just like, well, how does fucking Ancient Apparition and Weaver work together? So I want to start it off. I want to talk about kind of like what supports do with their money for the first like 5 minutes, like that part where you're super, super poor when you've got like your starting gold. And that's the most amount of gold you're going to have for the next like 10 minutes. So yeah, just that kind of starting situation on pubs and in some more structured games, how you manage your very limited support money.
Perfect. That's yeah. I mean, that's the topic of conversation. I was very proud Oh boy, that's a joke. I was
Fuck!
happy that you suggested this because you generally I did not picture you being the one to bring up support topics, but
Well, okay,
I'm excited to talk about
gold
this.
though, right?
You're right.
That's
You're right.
I mean that's what I do.
You're thinking about the little people.
Yeah. The support guild or carry guild, you know how it is.
Yeah. Anyway, so on supports, I guess I'll give my philosophy. Like starting, you and I have talked about this before. Starting when you have two supports, one guy buys Sentry Smoke, the other guy buys both Obs and Courier. Both spend 250. Both have 375 left, and then you buy whatever else. You buy a set of tangos each, generally, to pool one per pool one to the mid, and then a lot of times I'll go like Salve, Clarity, 2 branches, something like that. Mangoes are good also. It depends on the hero, but generally I just buy like a bunch of regen, couriers, wards, and then like 2 branches, maybe a Fairy Fire, maybe a Mango.
Yeah, Fairy Fire on supports is something that I actually feel like I underutilize. Like getting another 2 damage to like help zone, and just the burst 75 healing on a support feels like a lot more impactful than like 75 health on like a carry or something. Like you're going to be leveraging your health a lot more and more likely going to be trading for a kill. And then if you do have the Fairy Fire, it can turn from like trading for a kill into like actually just not dying.
Yeah, I've been very conflicted on Fairy Fire, similar to how people initially with Mango were conflicted.
Yeah.
That being said, I've come around on Mango. Mango is like the god item, but Fairy Fire, generally it's either I feel like sometimes I not so much recently. I used to just forget to use it because it was new, but even now it's like if I have more than one, it just feels redundant. One is like passable, but like a lot of people do double Fairy Fire builds, especially on mid laners. They'll do like Invoker will go like null Fairy Fire, double 2 pool. And it just seems like a bit much.
I don't know. I mean, like when you do it as a mid hero, you do it for the damage, not for the active, right? It's like if you're in a situation where you're using double, like 2 of them back to back. Which, by the way, I have been in with Windrunner. Having double Manga or double Fairy Fire did save my life. Which is awesome. But like it's mostly just for the damage, right? Like you have Invoker with fucking like 13 starting damage or whatever. He just wants that +2.
Well, kind of. I mean, the kind of the counterpoint to that is that in mid is like the most gank heavy position, right? So like if you're playing Invoker mid, it's a safe assumption you're going to get ganked, so you want to have that on demand health.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the other point. But then I mean also like mid is also the one where you need the most starting damage, hence starting with like Null Talisman and Wraith Band on every hero, right?
Either way, Fairy Fire is kind of a point of contention for me. I'm not like fully decided. I don't feel like it's core on any hero, I should say. Like some heroes, I'm like, right, I need a Mango to start. But Fairy Fire, it's like, I just have a bunch of gold and I just don't know what to do with it.
No, for sure.
I'm just sure I'll buy this.
I think almost every hero that goes mid should get a Fairy Fire, unless they're like going like Stout Quelling or Poor Man's Shield or whatever. But yeah, outside of just like the one for most mid heroes, I don't think going to 2 is like necessary at any point.
Yeah, so I suppose the other side of this support starting item conversation is when you are either the support that has to buy everything, or when you have another support that bought everything and you can kind of do what you want.
I want to go over the dual support a little bit more. I get to throw my hat into the arena.
Go for it.
I feel like when you have 2 supports, like maybe this isn't like a rule, but I think you always want one of them to have a Mango. Like if they're both going like like Tangos and Clarities and shit, just like that's kind of shitty. Just have one of them have the Mango. Just like if you're doing like a gank on mid and you've got like 3 guys mid, there's a decent chance that using the Mango on like your mid player or the other support or something is like that situation could arise. And then if you're a roamer, of course, Mango is really good. But yeah, Mango is fucking great.
I recently, not to like toot my own horn too much, but also kind of to toot my own horn. Recently, some of the most satisfying plays I've made have been like Mango pooling plays, where like one very vividly in my mind. We lost this game actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was playing Kunkka and we got the first blood because I pooled a Mango to my Slark during a chase so that he could pounce and kill the guy, and I was just like, that was one of the plays. And if I was streaming at the time, I'm sure it was audibly heard. That's one of the plays I just come away. I'm just like, dude, I'm the best Dota player ever. I'm a god.
No, you got to do the self-announce sometimes in pubs. Like, if no one else is going to do it, you got to say it.
Yeah.
At least like to your own team, like guys, I'm way better than anyone else ever who has played this game. Like you got to just let them know.
Yeah, or I'll just like hit the well played function and then
For yourself.
Exactly, and then I'll type it out and be like, "That was for me." It's all about positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
So moving past the or I suppose
No,
right, so
we're not.
right
So
at the beginning.
how do you feel about all right, so clarities. So like we already had our own heuristics for like, starting with a tango and then you give one of them away or whatever. And then you're like a support that just has 3 tangos, but you can get a mango to kind of circumvent that. But like when gold is limited, like when you have the option between like, having 3 or 4 tangos and like 3 clarities or 2 or 3 tangos and like 1 mango and no clarities, like where would you go on that? I mean, it depends on the hero, but
yeah, that's kind of the preface to all of this. But I almost always buy 1 clarity.
Okay.
And on heroes where I'm harassing with abilities, at least 2. So like, for instance, Disruptor, who I was playing earlier, I'll buy 2, possibly 3 if I can kind of get away with not buying as many of the core support items. Whereas here, like
Disruptor, who is a support.
Well, he's a support when you're not playing him at maximum efficiency in the mid lane.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah. That being said, there are other like Kunkka. Also, he's another one where I'll go Mango Clarity because like I'll gank mid and like the Clarity you use it when you're leaving bottom lane or top lane, and then by the time you get to mid, you have full mana.
Sure.
Or vice versa.
So would you ever put yourself in a position where like you could either get mango or some clarities and you choose you just like would never really choose the mango, you just like make sure you have at least 1 clarity even if it comes at the expense of having 1 mango?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, mango is awesome, right? But I think just having at least 1 clarity is necessary, right? Especially when you think of all like the regen you get. And you're playing as support, like realistically, there's going to be some time off the map for you. That being said, I do generally try to get mango and 1 clarity, and that way I circumvent that whole issue, right? So I mean that's kind of my opinion on that.
Okay.
I've come around on the clarities. I used to not be as like big into them. I used to be like, oh, I'll just get like a Sobi mask or whatever early, or I'll just get mana boots. But it's like you're not going to do that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, clarities are fucking awesome. Like I see more people like ferrying clarities out at like 20 minutes when they're just like, hey, it would be great if I didn't have to like call like my support hero or my support player over to like give me mana boots every minute. And just get yourself a fucking clarity, man. That'll solve a lot of problems for like no gold.
Yes. So now for like the first 5 minutes of like the game, once you have that, generally I'm an advocate, and I've said this on record many times, that Dota is a game of mobility, and I just try to get like probably like magic stick and then brown boots. Some heroes like,
what's that about?
Well, magic wand, whichever the little 200 gold one is. Yeah, well, I mean it's good. Some games I'll skip that, but if you're
every game, get boots.
I don't know.
Get boots.
Sometimes you can't afford the boots. All right.
Yeah,
sometimes you're in like a bristleback lane. You're just getting harassed to death.
Okay, if you're against a bristleback bat rider,
Zeus,
undying Zeus, quad aggro lane, wand is fine.
Not full wand. Just.
Oh yeah, stick. I mean stick. Yeah.
There's a big difference. I would never go full wand.
I meant stick, and I know you meant stick.
It's confusing. I hate it.
It's a tough life. Yeah, they're both magic. One is like,
a little less magic.
The other is just twiggy,
Yeah. One is like broken off from the other one. Like somebody shattered a magic wand and like 6 magic sticks came out.
And then you put it back together later.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, no, I mean sometimes stick is pretty clutch. Also, like if you're gonna die and you don't have 400 gold, you're like, all right, I'm gonna be buying this later anyway.
Yeah, okay.
That being said, and then some heroes like Soul Ring first is pretty legit.
I don't know who I would get Soul Ring on before boots.
I think so. Now I'm thinking it, like the only time I really do that is if I'm dying a lot.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm playing like Omni Knight or.
I'm like so anti like the whole like if you can't get mana boots, get Soul Ring thing. Like
I get both on Omni Knight.
Yeah, I don't do that on Omni Knight. It's just I go straight for like mana boots and then Force Staff, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean Omni Knight. There are a few different builds, but I have recently been advocating for both. I think Soul Ring is a strong item, and I don't think I'm just trying to like parse it out of my mind because now that you say that, it is most of the time I buy Soul Ring. It's because I can't afford to buy mana boots, so I need to buy the cheap pieces.
Yeah,
like 325, 350, 125 compared to just spending straight 900.
I think.
That being said, Soul Ring's good.
I
Soul
think
Ring
I'm a lot
legit.
more willing, like when I don't have the item I want, to just say fuck you to everyone and farm it.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm a support player and you're a carry player that dabbles in support.
Hey, it works. You use your, I understand. Like, if an Omni Knight walked up to me and was like, "Hey, fuck you, I need mana boots," I would be like, "Yes, you do. That is an important item. Please get mana boots now. That way, you have a mana pool more than like 200."
Yeah, surprisingly, that works. Like, I'll just ping like need 50 gold to mana boots, and like I'll just take a CS, and I usually don't get spam pinged to death by my teammates. Every once in a while, though, it doesn't work out.
You can do it with Omni Knight pretty decently. Like, you can farm with your fucking like purification damage. Like, it's decent.
Yeah, or Elder Titan Soul Ring is legit. I played Elder Titan the other day, and you go Tranquil's Soul Ring because the Tranquils carry over to your illusion, and it makes it faster.
Oh, that's cool.
No, like honestly, like this podcast, probably zero people that have listened to this episode have played Elder Titan within the last year. Because God, that hero is garbage. I won that game though.
Okay.
Anyway, but that predicated my or that was right before my 5-game losing streak. So maybe that caused.
Yeah, that was a curse. You don't. It's like you weren't supposed to do that.
I committed like
not allowed
dozens
to win.
of wins worth of luck in my Elder Titan win. Also, that game is super toxic. God. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the game we're going to be playing tonight.
The solo support game. So, what do you do as a solo support?
Cry mostly.
Okay. All right. Next section. No, this is important.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking about the solo support thing.
Yeah.
Solo support. Generally, I just buy courier double wards, and I like if they need sentries, they can buy them themselves.
Yeah, if you need a sentry, fuck you.
Yeah,
but then like you're up against a brood, and you're like, God damn it, fuck. Or your mid player is against a bounty hunter, and he's like, "Where's my fucking sentry?" And then you say, "Okay, I'll give you some sentries." Shit.
Yeah, then I just ping the jungler over and over again. I'm like, there's your sentries.
Legion, buy it.
Occasionally, like certain heroes, so for example, like if I'm playing Kunkka solo support or Lion or Venge, I will buy only one Observer Ward and I'll buy a smoke. But if I'm on a not like super ganky support, then I will just go double obs, courier, and then etc.
Yeah, I think a decent strat also in when you're like pubbing as a solo support is just like pretend you're only going to buy one obs and ask the offlaner to buy it for himself. Because like normally they have enough gold for that.
Yes.
And then if they do it, then you're fine. But if they don't, you're like, okay, I'll give you the word. I was just fucking with you.
Yes, I mean you can always bait people into doing stuff like that.
Yeah,
or not always, but you can. Oh, you can always try at least. So anything else on supporting before we hop into our combo?
No, just don't buy sentries. You don't have to buy a shit ton of clarities. Really, the whole point of this was like I know there are a lot of support players that I've played with who like don't buy clarities, and I just was angry. So we started this new session so I could tell people to buy clarities and like buy fucking clarities, dude. Holy shit, just do it. Fuck.
Yeah, I used to be in that camp. Honestly, I'll come out. I used to not buy clarities because I was like, oh, it's just gonna get taken away. Like I'll get like 25 mana and then it'll just get gone. Like I can't harass them out of lane if I don't have a clarity. But now I've come to my senses and realized that mana is a good thing, and I like the blue juice.
Yeah, if you got. If you buy fucking 3 clarities and each one ticks for 10 seconds, it's as much as like using a mango. It's great.
I did not know that. That's like I think it was either brought it up that like you can buy like 4 sets of tangos and it's still more efficient than just like having a
ring of health for like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. But people like that's like it's a stigma thing, I think.
Same thing you kind of think with a mango. Like if you have like 1 shared tango and 1 clarity, like that ticking is the mana of 3 mangoes and a mango regen for like almost 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's pretty weird, but yeah, mango's good over a very long time. And if you need the burst mana, but if it's just you just need to have mana before something starts, and you need health regen and you're gonna like have enough slots for health regen for a really long time, mango's really good. But like consumables are fucking awesome, guys. Like let's not underrate those. Like buying tangos at 10 minutes, not a terrible thing to do.
Yeah. The other thing on mango I will say is it's extra good if you're a hero with a low mana pool.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my example would be Kunkka, but Sven is another good one. Chaos Knight, stuff like that. Where
Juggernaut.
yeah, mostly strength heroes because it's just proportionally it's more effective than like if you're playing Skywrath and you have a large mana pool. Because if you have a large mana pool, just balance wise, you're like the whole emphasis of your hero is that the mango is going to be less mana effectively.
You don't need
feel
like if you're starting at full with a hero with a big mana pool, you're fine. If you're starting at full with a hero with a low mana pool, there's still a chance you'll need burst mana.
Yes. So that's something to think about, right? Anyway, I don't know if we're going to be buying any mangoes this game. Probably you might. But we're going to play 2 heroes today, as we tend to do. We have not done that for the last couple weeks, so hopefully we win this game and bring honor back to the .p household. That being said, we're going to be playing Wraith King with Rubick. 2 very fun heroes we both like. 2 heroes that I'm excited to play and watch be played.
Okay.
Okay, so which do we want to start with Wraith King or Rubick or both of them? I guess I'll just start with Rubick then, because I like Rubick. Everybody kind of likes Rubick. I think we can all agree on that.
I think he's the most universally like loved. Maybe not like ever. It's not everyone's favorite, but like no one dislikes him, except for Enigma players.
Yeah, or yeah, I'm trying to think of anybody that wouldn't like Rubick, but Rubick's just like a fun dynamic hero, right? It's a very like
wait, people who roleplay as Invoker.
Yeah, they would not like him. People that roleplay as anti-mage also would be like, oh god. That being said, Rubick, fun hero. It's kind of ironic now that I think of it that we're playing Rubick Wraith King because Wraith King is like the hero that Rubick is like loves to steal from because it's like right, literally every single time I'll get a stun, especially after they fixed.
There's so many heroes that Rubick loves to steal from. Like when I see Rubick in a game, I'm like, can't pick that. Can't pick that. Can't pick anything. You just can't fucking pick anything.
Yeah. Like you just gotta pick stuff and not use abilities.
Like you pick like PA maybe, but then he like fucking blink strikes away from you still. Like Ursa. You pick Ursa against Rubick. That's like the one hero.
Yeah. And then he steals your ult and
takes no damage. Yeah, fuck that. There's nothing.
Yeah. That being said, I mean I cannot claim to be an incredible Rubick player, but I play quite a bit of him. We have a lot of .p folks overall that enjoy a good Rubick game, so hopefully I will make everybody proud. I like Rubick, and I think one of the biggest advantages Rubick has is that he's a support that can just be picked. He's not necessarily like a counter pick, and there's not really a time where you're like, boy, I wish we didn't have this Rubick. Like, sure, there are oftentimes better heroes for a select game, but he's consistent, which is kind of ironic.
Never like a shit pick.
Fundamentally inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's just like I think he's definitely a hero, especially when you're thinking about more organized play. That it's like, all right, do we have a Rubick player? Okay, we could pick Rubick. Do we not have a Rubick player? Okay, we can't pick Rubick. And there are a number of heroes like that, but I think Rubick is definitely one of those like classic heroes where it's like, oh, he's a Rubick player, or like, oh, he doesn't play Rubick.
I think Rubick stands out. I think is totally true. Like a good Rubick play, you notice because you're like, shit. Black Hole was our spell, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, Rubick, I find, and this is a rarity in the Dota community, but Rubick is one of the heroes where, like, if you're losing to him, you're like, wow, that Rubick player is really awesome. Whereas if he was playing a different hero and dominating you, you'd be like, oh man, that freaking lion, he's just like, he got too much farm, yada yada. Whereas you see a good Rubick and you're like, dude, what an awesome
Because like all the good stuff he does is with your own spells. So if you're like, that Rubick player is bullshit, you got to be like, okay, because my spells are bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you die to Rubick Omni Slash, you can't be like, Omni Slash is OP. It's like you don't win that one.
Yep. I have actually lost to a number of Rubicks now I'm thinking of it. Rubick also has a lot of cool cosmetics. I'm pretty proud of my set. I don't have the golden staff like a friend of the show Ginga K does, but Rubick has some of my favorite cosmetics in the game. Although they're all very proper to his color scheme, whereas some other heroes have deviated a little bit.
As long as you don't have that one where it's like the fucking like puppet thing, fuck that, dude.
Really? That's a divisive set. Some people love that set.
It's oh my god.
I don't have it because that's like $60, and I don't play Rubick enough to spend $60.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like the set itself is kind of stupid. It's like a fucking like they already made that set for Witch Doctor, but like it's the graphic for his lift that's just like it's fucking huge.
Yeah,
Like it looks like a goddamn Ravage plus a black hole plus a meteor. Like that's
it's a
how
bit,
intense that graphic is.
it is a bit much. I'll agree with you on that one. That said, like I know some people who love that set and they think it's like the coolest thing in Dota. So I mean, but they don't have a podcast, right? So who cares?
Fucking idiots.
Yeah. Anyway, Wraith King is the other one. Wraith King has some cool cosmetics too, because I mean, obviously that's what's important. Boy, that should, we talk about adding segments to the show, which I know you'll talk about. We should have a cosmetics segment. It would be boring and nobody would listen to it, but that would be something.
Yeah, I got some Wraith King shit.
Wraith King. You can talk about this. I don't like Wraith King, honestly. This is like one of my least played heroes.
He's great, man.
I have 12 games. Actually, I have a 66% win rate, but I freaking hate Wraith King. I find this hero agonizingly, like, just boring to play. Like, I want to claw my eyes out.
He's so great in so many ways. There's like this weird property to a Wraith King where, like, when you think of like the hardest scaling carries in the game, Wraith King is like not one of them. Mm-hmm. But anytime I see a Wraith King in any game, I'm like, man, he's going to drop off. And then it's gonna suck. Like he's fucking getting ultra kills and shit. Like this hero scales way better than he has any right to.
What do you think? Okay, so let's talk about Wraith King a little more generally first. Generally, we first pick our carry combos or just combos. This will not be one that we first pick. I will be first picking Rubick, but A, Wraith King is not a highly contested hero, so I highly doubt they'll pick Wraith King.
Yep.
But B, this is a hero that has like, you talk about hard counters. Wraith King is like one of the most hard counterable heroes in Dota. That being said,
there's a decent chance that Wraith King doesn't get picked, I'll be honest.
Yeah. We're gonna have to play multiple games tonight.
Let's hope not, because I want to play Dark Souls. But so here's my plan. I'll mouse over Sven and then pick Wraith King.
And then someone's gonna be like, yo, it's cool, I'll support Wraith King.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's actually a good idea. Although somebody's gonna be like, "Yo, pick Sven." Anyway, that we could deal with that when it comes to it. Wraith King as a hero, like you said, he definitely has the potential to carry the late game, and he's very
potential. He does it. He's fucking incredible. Like I don't get it.
He's very unsuspecting. Like I feel like when I see Wraith King, like you, I agree. I'm just like, oh, okay, it's a Wraith King, like whatever. He'll get a blink dagger, but he won't actually do damage because all he's gonna have is like blink dagger, blade mail, and then like you try to fight into him and you just lose.
He's got the worst crit in the game. Like
but
it's
he does
worse
a lot
than
of them.
Daedalus.
That's embarrassing. That is
right. Like it's really bad, and his agi gain is like nothing spectacular, and his strength gain is like standard like fucking 3 or something. Like why? Why does he kill everyone so much? But he does. I don't know, man. I really don't get why he's so, like, mathematically, he shouldn't do as much damage as he does. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the items that he builds. I don't know, man. And like Radiance is cool on him too. Like he's fun.
Yeah, so what is your Wraith King build? Because this is like a hero with a billion different builds, it feels like.
So the thing that got meta, like ever since Wraith King started like getting picked in like actual pubs, not actual programs, like actual pubs. It's like Treads, Wand, Blade Mail, Radiance is actually like super legit. And then there's some like super greed builds on Wraith King where you go like fucking like Travels Midas and shit and just like, go to fights and then like aggressively die at people and just like slowly build up your gold. And like that's pretty decent too. But my normal build is Treads, Wand, Blade Mail, Radiance, Blink. And that's pretty good. I really like Radiance on this hero, honestly. Like it's fucking sick good. And like Radiance is just a fun item to buy. So if a hero can go Radiance, I'm pretty want to go Radiance, except for Lone Druid. So fuck that.
Well, yeah, I have become a fan of Radiance too as a damage dealing item. Like classically, you think of it as like, all right, I get Radiance so that I can farm with illusions, but like it's just so much damage. What is your opinion on Wraith King Ags? I will give my opinion first because mine is more important. But Wraith King Ags, I used to think was garbage. And then I played against it, and it was miserable. And we lost so hard because it just didn't matter. Like, we would kill the enemy team, and they would still be alive for, like, 6 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
And they'd still be able to use all their abilities and, like, provide their auras to their teammates, and it was just, like, godly.
sick good for like really good if you're like support Wraith King or your mid is like really carry. But as like a main, like if I was carry Wraith King with like a mid puck and an offlane Beastmaster, in no world am I buying an Ags.
Okay. What happens if Wraith King ult revives a Weaver and Weaver time lapses? Does it time lapse him back to life? He almost, that definitely does not work like that, but that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
You'll have to ask someone who's ever built the item or ever thought of building the item.
It's a good item. It's kind of like I was gonna say it's almost
like
gyrocopter
Ags. Yeah, no, I know. It's like something for a carry hero that like really wants to scale that does like absolutely nothing for their ability to scale. Or like Sven Ags. Like they're really cool items in concept. It's just like, when the fuck am I gonna actually build this and have it be the right call? Because like if you build Wraith King Ags and then don't win in like 10 minutes and then the game gets super late and then you just like can't touch their fucking carry, like then you feel really fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with you. I just think Wraith King Ags, like, I feel like it's one of those things that you got to see it to believe it, right? It's like the Loch Ness monster of Dota.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, like Luna Ags, I was kind of in a similar boat for. Like I used it once and was like, holy shit, what the fuck, Jesus Christ. But I don't know, man. Like I like maybe late game you like fucking sell your blink and then buy an Ags, and then it's like you're not losing carry potential you used to have for that Ags. You're just like trading. I think maybe that'd be okay. Like late game trade out blink for Ags maybe, but I don't know. Like I would need also like an SNY or something on this hero because my other thing with this hero is like I really want, like normally I'll go like Radiance SNY just because like, man, move speed's really good and Wraith King does not have any.
And Mames are nice.
Oh yeah, unless you go like Abyssal, he also kind of needs that for the lockdown. Like Skeleton Blast is nice, but or Wraith Fire Blast, my mistake. But it's not that great.
All right. So the obvious synergy between these two heroes is, right, like we just punch people to death. Like that's
Rubick doesn't punch.
Rubick attempts to punch.
Anything about this hero?
Well, he punches with magic, all right?
Darkseer is the only puncher.
If I steal Walrus Punch, I will punch.
Okay, right, that's also a puncher.
Like 600 units away, but still, it's punching. He has the potential to punch.
Yeah, he has punch potential.
This is not like an elegant combo. It's more like you're going to Wraith Fire Blast him, and then we're just going to hit him a bunch, and then I'm going to pull him back, then we're going to hit him a bunch, or the opposite, where like if you can't catch up, I pull him back into you, and you Wraith Fire Blast, etc., etc.
Definitely, we want to start with the Wraith Fire Blast because that has like a low cooldown as opposed to your like minute-long stun. Like we have 8-second Wraith Fire Blast, so like I fucking blast, they're stunned, they're slowed for 2 seconds, then you lift for like 1 whatever second, and then you pull them back, which is like another second of move time, and then I can like Wraith Fire Blast in 2 seconds after that. That's solid. I like that.
Yeah, I mean it's like most Rubick combos, honestly. Like we said earlier, Rubick's just a consistent hero, and we're just looking to play something fun. Also, like Wraith King fits with your Dark Souls theme.
Oh my goodness, yes, you're right.
Very Dark Soulsy.
Thank you very much. I mean, if you were Skeleton King, it would be like way more, but Wraith King's fine too.
Yeah, thanks Blizzard. Copyright.
Fucking stuff. Piece of shit.
Yep, let's go play Heroes of the Storm, guys. All right.
Man, that would be so funny if we said Rubick Skeleton King and I was just like playing Heroes of the Storm while you were playing Dota and we were talking like we're in the same game. Man, that would be great. Why didn't we do that? Because I want to play Dark Souls.
Fools.
Yeah. Good plan.
Yep, boy, we should. Yeah, all right. Let's everybody just forget that we said that, and then when we do an April Fool's episode next year, you'll be surprised.
Yeah, let's like waste 4 hours of our time for a shitty joke that no one cares about. That's like that's
and then everybody turns off the podcast 5 minutes in. They're like, oh, okay. All right. Anyway,
that's King.
Yeah, so we're gonna close this out.
Well, no, I want to talk about. There's a little bit. I mean, like, okay, so I hate when you talk about lane combos and all that like is like, oh yeah, they can kill someone in the lane 1v2.
Okay, all right.
Like, fuck you.
Okay, continue then. Extrapolate.
All right, so there's other shit that happens beyond 8 minutes. Believe it or not.
Is there? That's news.
Yeah, I know. We talked about supporting up to 5 and like the game up to 8, but there does exist this world, past then. So fucking all right. So let's say there's a fight. All right.
Okay, there is a fight.
I'm in a fight. We're fighting, and you're punching people with Rubick because that's how he works. And then you steal a spell, and then you don't immediately die.
I steal troll. Yeah. I steal troll spell, and that makes me melee, and then I'm actually punching. Okay, continue.
All right, so you steal this. You steal the spell, and then you say, "Oh no, I better use this because I'm about to die." And then you use it, but you don't die. And why don't you die? Because Wraith King's in the front fucking lines, man. He's bleeding for you, bleeding ectoplasm because he's a Wraith. And you're alive because Wraith King, man. And he's there, he's fighting, he's dying. And then you steal another spell. And what happens to that other spell? Its cooldown is fucking independent of fucking the other spell you just had. Unless you just stole the same spell again, in which case, fuck you. That was dumb. Yeah. But yeah, so Wraith King lives a long time. Normally, like, okay, your Tide ravages once and then he's done. You know, Rubick throws out his fucking W and his Q, then he's done. But no, he can keep stealing shit. He can throw out fucking Tide's Ravage and then fucking Lion's Earth Spike and then anything else. So like the longer the fight goes on, Rubick can leverage the fact that he doesn't really have to worry about any cooldowns besides his spell steal cooldown. So like Wraith King's going to drag these fights out and live and not die and shit. And you're going to like, as opposed to every other support that just like throws, you know, Finger of Death or Fiend Script and then walks away, like you're going to be slinging spells and shit. Like you'll fucking be able to wade into the middle of it as I like tank everything. So that's one decent synergy. The other one is you buy mana boots and then you should use them before I die, just in case.
I can do that. I'll buy 5 mangoes to pull you.
Yes. Okay, here's the real shit though. Mango is 150 mana. My res is fucking 160. Like, who made that?
Yeah, it also doesn't work.
Same thing with Soul Ring too. Like okay, here's how you buff Wraith King. Like, make Reincarnate 140 mana like Wraith Fire Blast. There was a long stretch where I thought they were the exact same mana, and I just would like use my mana up to like 140 and then die and not res. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought it was fine. And what? But no, they're different. Good to know. Oh yeah, other thing about Wraith King. I miss when Mortal Strike was an execute effect. They had it like an active for a little bit, and I played offensive dual lane Wraith King Ogre Magi every single game. And we would just like stun the shit out of people and then like Wraith Fire Blast them and then do Mortal Strike, which just took away 20% of their health for 7 seconds. And then if they took lethal in that time, they'd die. And it was great. So we would just like dot them up and then steal fucking 20% of their health at like, at like, 40 minutes. That would be like, I don't know, like 500 health for free on a Wraith King as a nuke. And then they just die. It was great. I love this hero.
Yeah, people oftentimes forget that Wraith Fire Blast has a dot. I know I forgot about that. I forget about that all the time because A, you don't see this hero a ton, but B, it's like, all right, I took a bunch of damage, and then suddenly you're like, why am I ticking like 50 lower, and then you're dead. Yeah. It's like, oh boy, there's a dot to that.
Should have used wand.
Yeah. But I didn't buy one because I needed boots first, right?
Yep.
Anyway, let's close this out and go to the game, shall we?
Wait, what are you buying, Rubick?
You have mobility.
All right, next, let's play.
I feel like every support that I play for this podcast can be summarized, unless it's like a really niche hero, in that like, all right, I go some form of boots, generally mana boots, and then I buy mobility. And if you're not buying mobility on supports, what are you buying? Glimmer Cape? Okay, whatever. Glimmer Cape's good too, but buy mobility. Like, if you're poor, buy Force Staff. If you're rich, buy Blink Dagger. In either case, buy the other one after. Simple. Easy. All right. So we're going to go play the game now. It will be up on our YouTube channel, .ptv1, in one of our perspectives. And I hope you enjoy watching it. We will enjoy playing it, hopefully. Hopefully we will not propagate each of our own losing streaks. Dota 2. Yeah. All right, hello everyone, and we are back. I immediately went into my the original greeting, but that's fine because we're back from our game, and we need some levity after this game. Wouldn't you agree, Proud?
Yeah,
it was something. We both talked about our losing streaks beforehand, and it appears as though we have carried over our losing streaks to this game. So I'll go over the teams as usual. We picked. I wish so. I don't have this pulled up, but we can kind of generally discuss the picking phase. It was all pick, of course, not captain's mode or anything. But the way the picks went were, let's just say, Wraith King may not have been the pick had we not been locked in this kind of game.
It was. I mean,
anyway,
it wasn't even bad, honestly. Like,
yeah.
I mean, go on.
You got some echo, buddy. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm going crazy. Anyway, I lied. Yeah, that was just me. Okay. Anyway, sorry. So the teams. Rubick, Wraith King, we had to play in an aggro duo lane because we had a guy that first picked Drow Ranger. We will get more into that later because, God, we don't like that guy. What a jerk. What a terrible player. We also had a Lion, and then we had a mid OD because, it's 6.86. We know
you gotta have the mid invoker versus mid OD at matchup. That's every game.
And the enemy team had Bane, Spectre, Witch Doctor, and Bane was like off lane Bane rotating something. Spectre was top lane, of course, or safe lane, and Witch Doctor was supporting, and then an Invoker in the mid lane because again 6.86. And they had a jungle anti-mage. Because, and Proud, you very correctly surmised this, the Spectre picked, and then the AM immediately picked afterwards. So clearly the guy was just like, yo, I'm going to have mid, or I'm going to jungle, I'm going to safe lane, or I'm going to jungle a safe laner. And that's what he did. And so as one might surmise, going by these picks, they had a Quaswex Invoker, very strong against heroes that require mana, like Wraith King. They had an Anti-Mage, who is the classic counter to Wraith King, and they had a Spectre, who naturally buys the Diffusal Blade. And then on top of that,
she has the option.
Yeah, I mean you're right.
She didn't. She didn't have one in the match. Is why I'm saying that.
She did. She built one.
I mean, maybe at the end, but she was
right at the end.
Phase, Urn, Drum, Radiance, Manta, then Diffusal. So I don't feel like that was much of a factor.
Yeah, I mean, but thinking about the game, if it had continued, I suppose. Anyway, and then Bane also. I mean, and Bane ult drains mana, so that was kind of rough. But that wasn't honestly like the most consequential thing. The most consequential thing was that our team was just terrible. More specifically, our Drow Ranger, who did nothing but like farmed and then died and refused to fight with us. And that's Dota 2.
If you're gonna take a hero whose only like benefit or reason to be picked is that she has like an aura that benefits your team, typically don't be a solo player. Like, kind of hang out with them. In general, that's a strat.
Yeah, that was painfully evident, right? And it's not very productive podcasting wise to for us to just complain about our Drow Ranger player, but that is an important notion for Drow Ranger players that may or may not listen to this show. If you're playing Drow Ranger, you should push because that's what your hero does. You shouldn't farm the jungle.
And when you push, make sure it's with a team because you do not do well when 3 people jump on you, turns out.
Yeah. Anyway, before we end up harping on that that miserable experience, because this was something of a game where you know how we always have those games where like you realize you've lost at like a certain point, but you just have to keep playing for the next like 15 minutes or however long.
Yep.
This was one of those games. It was a slow burn. It was it was some. Anyway, to talk about our actual heroes, I had a lot of fun playing Rubick this game. I thought I had a really good game in the early game until Spectre had Radiance. Because then like Spectre just hit R and I would just die. And even when I didn't die, I was so low health I had to leave the fight. That being said, there were some cool things to steal. There was, this was a pretty like. This is not a Rubick game where you're stealing like garbage every time. Like sometimes, you pick Rubick and you're just like, boy, all right, my options this game are to steal like nothing. Like I'm gonna steal like
Witch Doctor
Rage.
Spells kind of suck except for like his ulti. And then like
Cast is good.
Yeah,
I kept stealing a heal. that was terrible.
Well, yeah, and it's really easy to force him to steal heal because you just like toggle it after you use any spell.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, basically the flow of the game, right, was we took an early lead as you tend to do, with a
But
team
not even. I
that.
had fucking like 500 ping to 1,000, and we had to like pause. And I was sitting next to the lane, like doing nothing as they unpaused for like 3 minutes while I tried to figure out what was wrong. It was just shit from the get go, man.
Yeah, it was. We've had better games. We could put it that way.
I mean, like we won our tri lane despite the fact that I spent the first 2 minutes AFK. Or not
Yeah,
our tri
we
lane, our
definitely
dual
did
lane
that.
against theirs.
Yeah, and their dual lane like initially wasn't even a dual lane, and we definitely like we killed Spectre a bunch, we killed Witch Doctor a bunch, and I would definitely think this like kind of proved our success, like the not our success, but the success as a combo, right? Is we just did like the run at them strategy, and occasionally people rotated to help us, and occasionally they didn't, and we just were able to
It was
trade.
like no one was able to get away from the kill. Like pullback is so strong, honestly. Like early game, especially when I have boots and they don't, and like we pulled them back, and like the move speed disparity plus all the distance they have to walk is like super impactful. So like we could definitely kill people as a dual lane. Like it would beat almost any Spectre dual lane, and be able to fight against most tri lanes. But yeah, I mean it was like the lane went pretty well overall.
Yeah, and from that, like we took our tower at a decent time thanks to the OD rotating over, and I benefited from the Drow aura, which was nice. Just having that extra damage to punch with is pretty solid. That being said, I would rather have had a Drow that did things than just an aura. Kind of like we always complain about CMs that are just a walking aura. Anyway, eventually we got to rotate and we got to do our things. You ended up picking up some farm. I was able to rotate around with a lion and get a lot of work done. Killed Invoker a couple times. Killed Bane. Killed the rest of them. But eventually, this was just one of those games, right, where we just kind of stagnated, and the Spectre found like 5 minutes of space, and suddenly she had a Radiance, and we lost because Spectre is a good hero. And that was my experience. Proud, any any addendums?
Yeah, I played like shit. I had to get up in the middle of the game and then like unplug a bunch of shit and try to figure it out, and then like sit back down, and then I just couldn't play beyond that, and that was the whole game.
Yeah, it's always we kind of talk about this in the VOD, but it's very like Dota's very like singular activity. It's not good for multitasking.
Yeah,
And when you have to like get up or like
go through a long pause or something, like any discontinuity, and like I hadn't played the game in a while. I haven't played Wraith King in a while. It was a bad situation, and we had a jungle drow who didn't play with us, or not a jungle drow, might as well have been, but yeah.
I was gonna say I would have rather had a jungle drow if we had just a core farming bottom. It definitely,
yeah. It was pretty shit, honestly. Like our lane was fine. Like even as Wraith King against 4 counters, there wasn't a single important fight that I didn't get my ult on, except for that last one, where I get like, or where we all just like got caught out and got 5 for 1 or 5 for 1 at best. I think it was just 5 for 0. We just got full team wipe. So I mean, even in that case, if I got my ulti off, it wouldn't have mattered. So like, I just avoided every EMP. And then engaged after that, and it wasn't an issue. I didn't use blade mail that much because I'm just not used to that item still. But yeah, I mean, game was fine. I like Wraith King. Build was fine. You really need to get farmed though. You can't like let that stagnate, not get either blink or SNY. Like just walking around at Wraith King move speed all game is super shitty.
Yeah, it definitely, especially in a game like this where fights are just so hectic, we really needed that move speed.
Yeah,
and
like AM Spectre, like they both move around a lot.
Yeah, and even like Witch Doctor, we had to get right over him to stop his ults, and when we didn't do that, he had some like full duration ults. And Bane, like you gotta get over there to break his channel. It was definitely rough. So thinking about just this game, what really strikes me is kind of the weird viability of junglers in pubs, because intuitively, like, and we talked about this in the VOD, like intuitively you're like, right, we know there's an anti-mage in the jungle and we know we should go stop it, but like we're preoccupied with our lane and we don't have like the full team coordination, being that even in a 2-stack, it's still 2-stack plus 3 randoms, and like nobody really stopped him. So even though he like jungled slowly, like he just choke pointed the medium camp, and he had to go like headdress, ring of protection, like just to even attempt to jungle. But like he still gets away with it, right? Because it's a pub game, and like
Yeah.
you're just gonna find farm. And Spectre's similar, right? Like you don't see Spectre in really high tier pro games because people just know how to deal with it and know how to deny farm. Do you have any like thoughts on that? Like I've been really conflicted because intuitively I'm like I hate junglers, but it's so successful in pub games.
Well, I'll just say this. There was a day where I lost 4 Dota games. The last one, I really wanted to just play safe lane and turn my brain off. Someone else picked safe lanes, and then someone picked mid, then someone picked off, and then someone picked a bounty hunter. And I was like, you know what? I just lost a bunch of Dota. I don't want to play fucking support. So I picked Lone Druid, moused over the jungle, muted my whole team, mic and typing, and that was the one game I won that night.
Yeah.
Zero support, Lone Druid jungle, only game you win. Hey, what does that do to you, man? What does that do to you?
It's like I said earlier. I'm so conflicted because like, and we always rag on Roland, right? Because Roland's Jungle Book, etc. But it's just so like baffling that it's not baffling, but it's just so counterintuitive, and it really comes down to, and I don't know who said this or who I'm stealing it from, but at the end of the day, like Dota is a game about 5 people and versus 5 people, not 5 heroes versus 5 heroes. So if your people are just better than their people, like somehow you could have the stupidest composition and everybody's going to find farm. And somehow, or somebody's going to find farm, I should say. So even if you have a draw ranger that's irrelevant, if you've picked 4 other carries, 2 of them are probably going to get farm. And it's similar to like the classic, like pick a bunch of tanky heroes strat, where it's like, you just can't kill them all. And somehow they get all their abilities off.
Yeah, if you're fighting against 3 carries, you can only shut down so many of them at a time unless you have 3 carries yourself.
Exactly.
It's
and
like, when you draft like that, like the onus is on the other team to like make the correct call. And I feel like that the best way to play pubs is make the other team make decisions, because it's always going to be a mistake after like 10 minutes. Like there's going to be at least some fuck up. So if you have a bunch of carries and like they don't, all you have to do is not lose, and that's really easy to do in pubs until like 40 minutes.
Yeah, so on that note, maybe I'm just gonna I feel bad because I actually do like supporting, but now in pubs, like I've just lost so many games because it's like we picked a legit strat, and like I lost one with Woodshrew earlier, for instance, and like we had a legitimately good comp, and like we played it pretty well, but we make like a couple misplays, and then like the other team, it was just like they just picked like their only like kind of support was a Night Stalker, and it's like, all right, he's tanky, he's kind of a support, he buys Aghanims, and like even are like rotating, like making all these like clever smoke plays, just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, you make 2 mistakes.
There's that phase at like 30 minutes where and then you just like look at their team and you're like, how should this team fight go? And it's like Invoker, Spectre, Legion Commander, Faceless Void, and then like Night Stalker or something. You're like, shit, who do we actually kill? Like how does this team fight go well for us? It's like if you don't win by that point, when like you look at your heroes and you look, okay, at 30 minutes, this is a problem. These are all scary. And then you look at yours, you're like, okay, our lion's just gonna die, and then it's a 4v5. And like that's the game you don't want to be in a pub situation.
Yeah. Especially these like very oppressive cores, right? Like a Spectre, for instance, where it's like, all right, if you have 2 supports, that is so bad for you, because it's like, all right, it's 30 minutes. She has Radiance, she has Drums, she has Urn, she has Phase. And both of your supports, like in our case, Rubick Lion, we were both just dead every single fight. Like like I said earlier, either we would just die because she would flip to us and we would just get killed, or just, I mean, Lion not so much because he would just kill the illusion. But me, I'd be like at 300 health and like I can't participate in a team fight and do things if like I've been Radiance burned down already. And it's rough. So maybe that's my takeaway. Yeah, maybe that's my takeaway from this podcast and this game is
fuck it, just accept it. World's over. Everything's done. Just fucking jungle and mute everyone and hope that they have a drow on their team who doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I've kind of become. I'm also of the opinion that like, or not another opinion, but I enjoy solo supporting. Most people are like, oh man, I hate being 6, but like playing the 6th position is fine because like I'm confident enough in it. Like I can do a lot with no items, whereas I'd rather have like some idiot playing a core than some idiot that wants to play a core playing a support, right? So that's about that. we kind of got horribly off track because our game was just so miserable.
Oh, fuck everything.
Yeah. So, do we have any other closing notes before before we transition into talking about some plugs, some GoFundMes, some
No, I
other
don't give a
stuff?
shit. Fuck everything.
Perfect. Yeah, Dota 2. That it's a game that I enjoy.
I was having a good day.
Yeah, well, you can go back to playing Dark Souls and like dying constantly after this, and I'm sure that'll that'll brighten your day.
Beat the Abyss Watchers. It was hard. Felt good. Come on to this shit.
Yeah.
Fucking get a goddamn drow. Plays solo. Gets Aegis. 1v5s. Their tower dies twice. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yep. That's I echo his sentiment. That is my professional opinion. Anyway, we are currently in the process of fixing our website. So Proud, have you been to our website recently?
It sucks. Let's give Silver Fox money.
Yes, that is that is the gist of it. Excuse me. The website is garbage. We should fix it. We should also help Silver Fox, which is it's a good cause, but also it's a double good cause because we're a podcast and any kind of internet medium.
We are a podcast.
In case you were not aware, any kind of internet medium, you want to have a nice website, and our website's pretty garbage. And also, maybe you want to buy some like .p shirts, .p whatever. We're going to be facilitating that, and so I'm sure we would all greatly appreciate if y'all would check out GoFundMe.com/Travis on Rails. Can't spend money, that's fine. Just share it, spread the word, etc. We've had some really stellar streaming done in some promo streams. We did a 12-hour stream last weekend. Like I said earlier, I believe we'll be doing like a 12-hour, maybe there were talks of a 16-hour stream.
37-hour.
Weekend. 37-hour?
Yeah.
As long as I don't have to do that. I like Silver Fox. I don't know if I like Silver Fox enough for a 37-hour stream. Just, okay, maybe I do.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's kind of rude.
I mean, I would do it. Anyway, so do that. Check it out.
Yeah,
help
GoFundMe gets money. He goes to Code Core, which is like legit. And then he learns Ruby. He gets to fucking learn a goddamn thing. And then he wins. And then he doesn't have to work his job.
Every time you bring up, you're like, "Oh, Code Core is legit." You make it sound like we're some like scam.
No, that time it was like, man, Code Core is awesome. Not like it's legitimate, like legit in the more.
There's paperwork.
Yeah, you know what I mean in like a slang sense. Not like it's a legitimate organization. Like it's fucking legit, man. Like that.
Yep, we've already raised I think by now it's like $1,300 or something. So we are well on our way.
I got my tax return, so I can finally make good on fucking saying I was going to give 100.
Nice. We've got all kind of stream rewards too for stuff, and you contribute, you get stuff. Although not me, I contributed, and Roland denied my right to demand music on the stream.
Wow, what an idiot!
I was
fuck
hurt.
that guy.
Yeah. Anyway, if you donate money, you'll get songs on the stream. I'm just a special case, and I don't deserve that apparently. Anyway, we got some other stuff.
Wait, was it K-pop?
It was, and then
Blackheart. No shit.
Yeah, it was Cheer Up by my girl. Or no, Thumb Up. Cheer Up is a different song. Anyway, Blackheart then sneakily got it in there. Anyway, we also have a YouTube channel where you can watch the game from today if you want to like suffer with us. There are plenty of people that sadists or like they're trying to like they're vicarious masochists. Maybe they want to watch that game, and it was by me too, so you get to see some cool Rubick play. That's .ptv1. It's a numerical 1. Again, our website, defensedivisions.com. It sucks now, but like it's something, right? There's a ladder there. The in-house season just finished. We didn't really talk about that, but in-house season finished last weekend. We're on a short hiatus, and we are like revising and adding some new rules. So you'll hear all about that to kind of circumvent some of the issues we have had previously in the in-houses. And then we'll be coming back stronger than ever with those. Like I said, probably 2 weeks from now, give or take. There are talks of a 2-week hiatus or a 3-week hiatus, so I don't want to give a specific date. But so those are always fun. We have an Amazon banner on the website. You can find it. It's pretty obvious. It's the only thing that's nice on it. It's go buy things there. Twitters, I am at Ursinity. It's easy. URSINITY. At @p_show is the show Twitter. You can find anything and everything there. We also have Proud at Proud Dota. Nice and simple. subreddit r/Defense of the Patients. Email us, defenseofthepatients@gmail.com, patreon.com/Defense of the Patients, where you could support us directly. That being said, GoFundMe is better. April 9th. Nope, that's something else. That's a date that passed. I should not have that written down. And that's about it for me. I think that's about it, just in general.
Yep.
I think we both need to go decompress
I had
because God, that
something to
game.
say, but I forgot it.
I'm sure it was eloquent and purposeful, etc., etc.
I'm broken now, man. Fuck.
Yeah. I kind of like, Dota 2. This could be, we could have an episode all about just like, Dota is just like, I always say that I hit my highest highs and my lowest lows playing Dota. And this is definitely a low of lows.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, well, you'll do that playing Dark Souls. So, everybody enjoy your Dark Souls. I will not, but have fun. I'll probably end up playing Stardew Valley because that game is fun. Or actually, no, I'll watch Korean soap operas. That's where it's at. Anyway, remember, this has been our theory, and if you pick Drow Ranger and you lose games, it's definitely your fault. Not just probably, it's definitely your
fault. Dude, we're tilted, right? You don't have to improv. We're tilted. Just accept it. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.